Rental Housing Association in California is suing the state over the state eviction moratorium. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have another article for you today that's going over a second lawsuit now where landlords in the state of California are suing the state over the state's eviction moratorium. Now, this is different than the landlords who filed the federal lawsuit against the federal government over the federal eviction moratorium, okay? But before I get into that article, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think of all this eviction moratorium madness. I'm going to work to keep bringing you articles about it and about other news that's of interest to landlords. So, this article comes from timesofsandiego.com, and it says, Rental Housing Association sues California over the eviction moratorium. Yeah, let's see what this says, because I'm quite interested in, all these lawsuits and all this action trying to strike down these unlawful orders. The California Rental Housing Association filed a lawsuit against the state of California in federal court Thursday, seeking to stop enforcement of the third extension of the statewide moratorium on evictions during the pandemic. The association, which represents over 9,000 members with nearly 537,000 rental units, said the extension provided by Assembly Bill 832 violates basic property rights and is unconstitutional. Yeah, that's what I've been saying since the very beginning of this whole thing, okay? You're violating people's property rights and it's unconstitutional. You cannot pass these laws, whether they be on the federal or the state level or a local level or whatever, okay? You cannot take people's property rights away, not even for the pandemic. That is why we have a constitution in this country. We tried working with our legislators and the governor to reach an agreement that would recognize the financial burdens faced by both rental housing providers and renters, said Kavane Lamarca, president of the association. They chose to ignore the financial burdens of small and medium rental property providers. The courts are our last resort. The lawsuit, filed under the Federal Civil Rights Act in Sacramento, seeks a declaration that AB 832 is unconstitutional and an injunction prohibiting its enforcement. Yeah, that's what they have to do. They need an injunction to stop it immediately, okay? And they need it declared unconstitutional so that these things will never be put into place again. Now, the hard part for them is they are in a place where there are a lot of very liberal federal judges, a very liberal federal appeals court, okay? And it's going to be an uphill battle winning this, okay? They have a chance. There's always a chance, but they're fighting a hard battle, okay? And what they're saying here about, these legislators and governor not realizing the financial hardship that they're putting on landlords, that is the very truth. They didn't even think about landlords when they put any of the rental assistance in place or any of these eviction moratoriums. The only thing they were thinking about was, hey, let's help these, tenants out, right? But the thing is, a lot of the tenants right now, they are the worst kind of tenants. They're the ones who are abusing the system and trying to get one over on the landlord and, live for free as long as possible. And I consider that just stealing, okay? If you're living in an apartment or a house or anything that you are, staying there for free and somebody else is paying for you to live there, then that's stealing. You're stealing their money, okay? The state continues to extend the eviction moratorium with no distinction between residents who cannot afford to pay due to the pandemic and residents who can afford to pay their rent but are using the moratorium to violate their rental agreements, Lamarca said. I agree with that 100%. There never has been a good enough distinction between those. And there's never been, any way that a landlord could go out there and prove that the tenant didn't have a financial difficulty and get that tenant to pay at that point or evict that tenant at that point. Instead, they've just been left in the lurch. They've been screwed over by all of these laws that they put in place. He said that throughout the pandemic, landlords have continued to provide housing, in some cases for no compensation. The legislature voted in late June to extend the moratorium to October 1st amid the surge in cases due to the Delta variant of COVID-19. Last week, a court upheld the city of San Diego's own extended eviction ban, which is separate from the state's law. It was challenged by the Southern California Rental Housing Association. So yeah, that San Diego rental eviction moratorium was already upheld by the court. So that's just telling you how hard of a battle that these associations out in California are facing when taking the state to court. It's not going to be easy, and they might have to take it all the way to the Supreme Court in order for this to truly be thrown out and receive true justice, because this is unlawful. Okay, there is no reason why someone should be able to live in a property without any sort of compensation towards the landlord just because, I've said this before, I'll say it again. It is a push towards socialism. I don't agree with it, and it's completely wrong. So let's hope that this court case goes well for these landlords and for this rental association, this rental housing association, and let's hope all of this ends all across the country.